All right. Well, I think that we have one more interesting and fun thing that we can do before we move on to these finals. And I want you guys to go ahead and open up your Twitter and start sending out some tweets because we have a special guest by the name of DevilSquirrel who is joining us today to show off a tool-assisted speedrun of Ori and the Blind Forest, all skills, no out of bounds, no teleport anywhere. Devil, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm also going to be joined by Grimelios, who has no idea that this was coming. And I look forward to hearing your responses as this task plays.
None of you saw our frantic messages in Discord over the last 2 minutes.
So, this is as mentioned, it's a brand new task. Devil, you produced this in secret over the course of the last couple months or weeks, or how long exactly?
It was the last couple weeks. So I started it on April 13th, and then I finished it about 12 days after that.
My goodness. That's absolutely crazy. Wow. The words are just not even.
That's an appropriate reaction, though.
So let's actually go ahead and we'll get the video started. I'll just give a quick countdown so that Grim and Devil and I can all sync up, and I'll watch at the same time. So let's go ahead and get this started in 3, 2, 1, go.
My goodness, I'm excited.
Yeah, this is pretty good. So the beginning of this run is going to be fairly similar to what you might expect. Devil, what can you actually do at the beginning of this game in a task to optimize it?
Well, there's not a whole lot that you can do, but if you have seen the all cells task, this will be slightly different. I was able to clean up a few portions of the early game that we had in the all cells, and so you will see a few optimizations that we didn't have back then.
So just in case anyone is not familiar with the concept of a tool-assisted speedrun, this is where you use tools and or scripts in order to play the game perfectly, essentially. You're going to generate the input directly to the game at a level that a human can't do perfectly every frame. So Devil was able to, basically program in the perfect run of this game, or at least as close as perfect as he could accomplish. Grim, of course, you've seen the all cells tasks. What would you be hoping or maybe expecting to see in this task compared to that?
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, for the record, too, this is brand new to me. I was expecting the finals to start right now. I am very happy about this. So this is an unscripted live reaction. Honestly, the first thing I'm thinking watching this is, I mean, of course, you're going to see perfect movement, like you're seeing frame perfect jumps all over the place. It's not like that in itself saves you very much time, but I'm just really excited to see all the dumb, stupid little like half-second strats in Ginso, cutting every single corner perfectly.
Oh, well, we won't have to wait until Ginso for that, because Devil, you've got some fun stuff right here.
Oh my goodness.
So how much time do those little backflips save there?
Not much.
So this part of the game, progressing it basically about like a standard run. Devil has made Ori damage boost down to 1 HP as you would normally expect. Slightly different XP route. I guess you can kind of manipulate the positions of XP orbs when they spawn to an extent, can't you?
Right. There's a random seed in Ori that, a normal human wouldn't be able to modify or, take advantage of, but the task can.
And we're going to see a fair bit of that in certain places.
Sure,
not just to make sure not just to make sure that the XP falls in the way that you want, but also to guarantee, for example, an energy drop at a good time.
Dude, I can't stop smiling. I was not expecting this.
This was so Devil came to us how long ago? About a week ago, right? And informed us that this existed. Oh, I like this part right here. That's beautiful. That level up. Look at that.
That was beautiful.
A human would not be capable of doing that, nor would a human be capable of getting this kind of wall jump time, would they?
I need to see. Wait a minute. We haven't hit 3 minutes yet?
No, sir.
My mind.
So, Devil, doing this by yourself, what were kind of the major challenges that maybe would have been resolved if you had not kind of done this in secret?
Actually, I don't know. I mean, doing it by yourself, the main thing is just keeping motivated and, going on to the next segment as fast as you can. But having it done all by yourself, the big advantage though is that you don't have to worry about syncing up quite as much with the other segments that other people would do, which we had a lot of trouble in the All Cells.
That's right. The All Cells task being, of course, a collaboration that was done around September last year between, what, 8 different individuals? I think that's the number.
What was that wall jump? Are you kidding me?
This is
Computer's
exactly, by the way,
cheating.
why I wanted Grim specifically in this call to appreciate this video exactly as it is.
Well, I appreciate. I'm gonna, like Devil, you were just talking a minute ago. I almost burst out laughing. It's the littlest things. I'll say this. I mean, you don't need to be super familiar with Ori, I think, to be appreciative of the precision of the movement. You know, if you've never watched Ori before, you'd still probably be able to recognize how optimal it is.
Oh, I do
Wow, that
want
was
to
a
interrupt you
quick
real
save
quick.
anywhere.
I just will mention that one thing that is done in this tool-assisted speedrun to aid viewability is that the opacity of the ability tree screen is decreased substantially, so that you can actually, kind of more clearly see the action behind it. That is just a visual change. It does not change how the game actually runs.
I didn't know that. That's a good idea, though. No, all I was going to say is that you don't need to be just like you could watch a run at GDQ that you don't know about and still appreciate it. It's really cool to watch a task, but I mean, as someone like all of us here who are, intimately familiar with every single tiny little movement, it's just so funny to see these tiny variations, like the little tiny wall jumps and the little extra jumps here and there to save frames. It's the sort of stuff that a human, like any task, a human wouldn't say, "Oh my goodness, I lost 2 frames. I better reset." But on a task, like, you can just go for every single frame.
So speaking of going for every single frame, that save and reload there is a cycle manipulation. Devil, about how much time is that saving?
It's a few seconds, mainly because the save and exit by the task is only 3.5 seconds, where a human would probably be 4.5 to 5.
Just due to menuing, I assume.
Right.
You know what's the other wonderful thing about a task, and I've never seen this, so I don't know if it's going to happen, but in tasks, there are sections, generally speaking, that you might have auto scrollers or something. Look at that manip. There are sections where you might have auto scrollers or whatever, where even a task can't make it go any faster, but what the task can do is really silly shenanigans in the meantime when you have to wait. Like a second ago, Ori was having a fun little dance party, just flipping back and forth like every frame, I'm assuming. And that's just amusing to see.
Good old swag. It works just as well in a task as it does in real life.
Now, wait a minute. Are we going to get...
So we are not. So Devil, the new XP route with the rekindle to skip this cutscene, the save glitch to skip this cutscene, when did this come out relative to you working on this task?
It basically came out almost the day after I started working on it. And I thought about including it, but we weren't quite sure if it was like 100% sure that it would save time. So I just went with the old route.
Overall, do you believe that it would save time to use that route in the test?
Probably. The hard thing, though, which Sig brought up that we could change, is that not having magnet in the task is 100 times harder just because of the desyncs. And so, but you can, from what Sig was saying, include magnet early on, and so that would help.
So we came in with a 6:48 dash time, which of course is totally reasonable, and I'm sure LO, Jiminy, or Hetfield will be pulling that off in the near future.
I want to be clear on something. That's a 6:48, and this isn't the new route.
That's correct.
What are these dash glides? a weird, mysterious deity.
Oh, just wait. This part is the best.
Oh, right. Fast Frankie Walk. Cheeky little leaf.
Oh, that's such a good... Oh, this is my favorite. Look how beautiful
Sure,
that is.
why not? Let's do that too. That's an... Oh my goodness.
So when I first watched this video, I described this to Devil as a work of art, this section. It's just absolutely... Devil, how much fun was that section to task?
It was amazingly fun. I mean, I had a lot of fun with all of the tasks for the most part.
I wonder if it's going to get God Cycle. It'll be close.
Just squeezing through these little gaps that, for no reason, like, I mean, you don't actually save time on that second one, but the first one was good.
I just love it. I mean, every single jump and wall jump and everything is just absolutely perfect, which, I mean, of course it is. It's a computer, but it's so cool to see.
So the one thing that I think kind of held back most people in the community who worked on the previous all cells tasks from continuing to do task work was that the tools are kind of a little bit difficult to work with, just because it's a fundamental limitation of what we can even do in terms of tasks in this game. Devil, how do you feel about that? How did that affect your progress on this task or your motivation to do it?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to do a whole lot of tasking after the all cells either. And I mean, this came out, I think, enough time afterwards that my motivation kind of came back a little bit. But yeah, taking care of the desyncs in this game, I was able to do quite a bit, so that helped.
Those are quite some jumps there.
I guess we can talk about ninja jumps, right? You've seen runners in the tournament do this, right? I mean,
yeah,
like Jayhogs
sure.
does that.
Why not? That's a normal thing. Ninja jumps are actually something that humans can do. The idea is that the way you climb walls is you can just do a series of wall jumps. Once you have double jump, you wall jump and then double jump again, gain a bit of extra height. It is slightly faster, though. I don't know the exact timing. It's on the order of frames per jump, right? To do ninja jumps where you do neutral input on your wall jump, you release all directional input, and Ori does, I don't know why technically this happens, but Ori does this weird backflip kind of thing that looks really swaggy, and it also is faster, so, best of both worlds. Okay, you can make that jump. And it's something that is difficult, because it's not so hard for humans to do, it's hard to do it consistently enough to save time, because it doesn't save much unless you do it really optimally, and since this thing is a filthy cheating computer, it can do it, absolutely flawlessly.
Yeah, human is not saving the amount of time with ninja jumps that this task is saving. You can just tell the difference in wall climbing speed. It's almost as fast as using the actual climb skill. This right here is the beauty as well. Just skipping an entire life cycle of those crushers. It's just ridiculous.
I'm just wondering, see, like, my mind is starting to calm down. I'm starting to, have the ability to form rational thoughts again.
Well, you might not after you see what time the Ginso enter split is.
Oh no. Dude, I have to commentate the finals after this. My brain is gonna melt.
Yeah, so that's a sub 11 enter Ginso. I don't think that there's a human with that kind of time or even the capability of that sort of time. And that's really
Sorry.
I was just gonna say that's really the beauty of a task, right? Is that you can there's some perfect tail hops, no problem. You can do things that a human just can't. There's no way that a human can have this level of precision for this long. It's just impossible. Oh, I do want to point out. So you took some damage there, Devil. Tell me a brief bit about that.
Sure. In the all cells, if you were to watch it, we actually kill that spider, but that's because we have quick flame. And since the task moves so fast, you can't actually avoid the spider's projectile, so we just take the damage there, and then we use it for the Mr. Erasmus cycle.
Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, so that's the ultimate swag right there, of course. Humans can theoretically do that, just no one wants to because it's risky as heck.
That's beautiful in a task. That saves no time.
Oh, okay, so for this mini-boss, Devil, tell me about the quirk with this mini-boss.
Yeah. This mini-boss, for whatever reason, the game just decided not to play along, and it ended up to where the game would give me one of two different variations on this mini-boss. But luckily, I was able to actually get the inputs to sync for either variation, so it was pretty crazy.
Yep, so if there are two different entire patterns of mini-boss spawns he could have gotten there, just based on the game not cooperating, and he managed to get inputs that kill both, which is just incredible.
I have a question. Did we just once and for all determine that is not faster? That thing that we thought was faster?
I don't believe you had the health for a damage boost there, Devil. Is that correct?
No, there was no damage boost possibility.
Interesting. No, one of my favorite things about this, just kind of thinking about the future, is once you get light grenade.
Hold on, important note here.
What?
So that was an intentional trash bash, right?
Right.
You can manipulate trash bashes.
Of course. All you got to do is fail the input, right? Change the angle on your bash at the last frame as you're releasing it, and then there you go. You get the bash in the direction that you want, and you redirect the enemy in a different direction.
I'm gonna eat like 7 buckets of ice cream tonight and just cry about my lack of skill.
It's pretty good. So the bash split being, of course, 12-27. That's pretty, reasonable for a human, I'm sure. Not too much going on here with this mini boss. It's pretty straightforward. Of course, managing the closest possible pickup of the shots there.
I'm sorry. I feel like I half keep interrupting you.
Go ahead.
Was that some kind of weird, really fast wall jump, or was it a normal wall jump? Like on the second mini boss, it almost looked like part of the dash momentum was, or the bash glide momentum was kept on the wall jump. Or maybe I'm just making that up.
I'm not sure.
It looked horizontally faster than a normal wall jump. I guess it doesn't matter. But
they may have been neutral wall jumps, which do give you some momentum away from the wall.
You will enjoy the Ginzo escape here.
Oh yes, this is another work of art. And we're just over, by the way. We're just over. Well, no, I won't spoil it.
Are you kidding me? What? It's gonna take it through the whole. No, it's not. Okay.
You wish.
I do wish. That's a cycle.
Saving a cycle on those projectiles for sure.
There's another nice cycle.
And we're going for a ride. And I believe that Frankie juggle was in the all cells task as well. Is that right?
Yeah, it was. But the escape here was actually ended up being 2.5 seconds faster than the all cells one because of improvements.
That's one fascinating component of TAS is for me in general. It's kind of an obvious statement, but it is based on human knowledge. You watch a TAS of a game that's not necessarily the fastest it is possible to beat the game. It's the fastest possible based on what people knew at the time the TAS was created.
Yeah, that's a very good point. A TAS is very much a knowledge-based creation, whereas a speedrun, of course, a human-based speedrun is also a knowledge-based creation, but there's a very substantial execution component. In a task, the execution is as perfect as the person who is creating the task knows how to implement it, right? Mm-hmm. So, of course, it's definitely possible. There's improvements possible on this task. Devil, I'm sure you already can think of a number of them.
Yeah, I mean, I've improved pretty much every segment in the base, that was in all cells and the all skills.
I'm just watching for like every minute little difference if I can see it, apart from just the trash bash thing. I never thought about that. I mean, it makes sense, I guess, that the reason, for anyone who doesn't know, a trash bash is something that generally can happen when you play in controller. You have to aim with an analog stick, and if you try to do a bash glide by releasing the stick for neutral input, sometimes you release the stick at the wrong time, and the game kind of gets confused for like a frame of where you were actually aiming the thing, and you get shot in some weird direction that you didn't intend, and it can kill you. That's what a trash bash is. So you try not to do trash bashes so that you actually bash where you want to, but apparently now I should start trash bashing again.
Oh, that was the current cutscene.
Oh, come on.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, the use of trash bashes in that particular way has sometimes in the past been called perfect bash, where you manage to launch Ori in some slightly different direction that is not exactly the opposite of the projectile you shot. Oh yeah, this is the spider sack cutscene skip.
There's a spider sack, and you got the projectile again. Why not?
Of course.
I did not know you could skip that cutscene in that way.
So I had heard at one point that was slower than the normal rekindle devil, but I must have misunderstood that.
No, it's not. Or at least I compared it to everyone's video, or a few of the top players' videos, and it's not slower.
Really good call on the opacity on the overlay. That's something I wouldn't have thought of.
And that's one of two different concessions that there are to viewability in this. The other one is, you might have noticed, the UI is always on, and the task frame perfectly turns it off every time it needs to. Oh, there was an ability cell pickup stacked with that bash on that Frankie, if I understand correctly.
Mm-hmm. That's something I did in my casual playthrough.
Of course. But yeah, so you'll see the UI always on. That's just to aid viewer understanding so that they know what the health count is and what the energy count is. And also, of course, while he's doing chain charge dashes, you can see the energy just constantly staying high because everything is perfectly stomp canceled.
This is oh, okay. That's cool. That's cool. It's so interesting to me to see what strats that top runners are doing, like Sig and Het, for example. because a lot of the strats here are exactly consistent with what I would expect, short of, you know, obviously absolutely perfect execution. That was like a reverse stomp, double jump cancel thing.
Yes, I like it.
Yeah, I think that's a very eloquent way to phrase that.
So we're
So we're
coming
gonna-
up on Feather here in
Yeah, the sub
19.
19. That's
goodness.
beautiful. I'm, you know, as a human, I'm like, can I get a sub 19 drainless? Let alone Feather.
Oh god, see, now we're gonna have charge dash. This is probably gonna get really ridiculous.
Yeah, so you're already seeing some stomp cancels here. Some good stuff. That's basically a
fascinating.
variation on the crazy juggle inputs where you charge dash to an enemy and then, well, yeah, I'll just let most of this
Oh,
section
no.
speak for itself.
Oh no.
You might notice he manipulated an energy drop there and a second one, so he's gonna get a few refills there.
This is the craziest of crazy juggles. I've never seen anything this crazy.
I think part of what I personally like about this task a lot is that it's very similar to the actual all skills route. It's just that it's done to hyper perfection with just a ridiculous level of execution that obviously a human can't do. Devil, of course, having participated in both the all cells and all skills tasks, I think the all cells felt like more different than the human based route. What are your thoughts on that, and kind of how did you feel about that difference?
Yeah, I mean, the all cells, I mean, was quite a bit different for a human player, but I mean, I would imagine that all of the all skills runners can at least relate to how the task is playing out right now.
I love how it stomped down and just like casually swag dodged the little wooden platforms.
That's faster.
It is faster. What was that? Just over 20 minutes?
Yep, the 2010 charge jump, as you can see there, and almost running into the ghost door there. As it actually, what most runners might not realize from ghost door is that after a few seconds of the ghost door not being there, it does reappear. But in this case, he was able to barely avoid hitting it.
I love these stomp cancels because I just know they're going to be absolutely flawless. I mean, like everything else. Obvious statement, but still.
I like that grab out of the terrifying spike position there. And
Back
Yeah,
in
the
my
charge
day,
dash there actually knocks the projectile backwards, and so it gives you enough room to grab it.
Oh, that's interesting. Meanwhile, we're seeing a fair bit of stair stepping here as well. Oh, and this cutscene skip. How much time does this save in the task?
About 70 frames.
For a human, I would be very surprised if anyone could save time with that, but you never know.
There's all
I'm
these
sure
little
Hydra
things
will
that sorry, there's all these little things that oh, interesting. That I didn't think about, like all these small sections. In Ori, and correct me if I'm wrong, but generally speaking, stomping is quite a bit. Well, stomping down is faster than normally falling, but even for very short vertical drops, it's often faster to stomp, which is why you see so many of them. But somehow it didn't occur to me. It's not like I've spent a lot of time trying to hyper optimize this game or anything, but
There's
there's
So you better
always-
watch it.
I'm watching. What? You can do that?
that's
I thought
so
only
good.
I thought only the sorrow lasers were a suggestion. Are all laser suggestions?
Always as a suggestions.
Oh my goodness. Literally cheating. I don't know if that emote's available, but literally cheating.
So I think in the amount of time that we would have in a race, we would be expressing like, oh, this runner's ahead, this runner's behind, so on. We've basically finished Misty. So here's a variant on Bang Bang Pow. Exactly what's happening there, Devil?
A lot. There's 2 charge jumps, a charge dash, and then a fire or charge flame.
Yeah. How much time does that save compared to Bang Bang Pow? It must be like a
Yeah,
couple-
it's minor. I don't know the exact count.
I guess I would guess maybe half a second.
Still at 5 energy. Still at 5 energy.
So we're fast approaching the end here at 22 minutes and 50 something seconds.
Back in my day, we just did bash squads and we were happy with it.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
And
Sorry, guys.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, as always, I'm just really curious to see what the exact fastest route here. Like, I'm noticing some dashes into bashes as opposed to stomps and then dashes. This is gonna be like the ultimate super Yoka cycle.
Yeah, it's the pre-Yoka cycle.
Oh, interesting.
That was
Interesting
pretty
to go over
insane.
that cutscene. And oh god, we're going to
So
start
here's
doing
grenade.
hyper light drifters now.
That is correct. We're going to see some grenade jumps. Grenade jumps are pretty fun. And Devil, you actually found something slightly new as we're going to see the first grenade jump here. You can... it had to do with charge jumps, right? And specifically wall charge jumps.
Yeah, you can charge them on before you even get to the wall.
I noticed that you did some charge dashes in the meatball column in Misty, and you didn't sit on the wall long enough to charge it up. At least not based on what I would have expected.
Yeah, you can charge them as you're getting to the wall.
So that's actually a pretty cool and somewhat important note. Like that could help just save a few frames on people's grenade jump attempts and also just help them on retries as well.
This is so dumb.
So now we're at the Mount Horu door.
24 minutes and 22 seconds, I think, was the door. Might have been 23. I don't want to oversell it.
It's a beauty. And of course, we'll see the standard door warp here.
What's your prediction, Vula?
I'm gonna go with first try. PogChamp.
Nice.
Having to wait for the load time there, unfortunately, that's just a fundamental limitation in the game.
So there's room to improve, is what you're saying.
Get an SSD. I don't think that actually helps, though. So don't blink during the escape. We're basically done here almost.
I'm gonna literally. I blinked. Sorry. I'm gonna try not to blink again.
I told you not to. So there's a nice quick grenade jump there. And there's another one.
Sure. This is fine.
Alright, Fishy, let's go.
I love it.
GG.
Perfect position. What in the world?
Now, real quick, as we're doing hold right, Devil, just tell me how much of a pain it was to get that grenade jump to work at the end.
Yeah, Sigma and I spent probably an hour or two trying to, get that to work out properly, and it was extremely painful.
Ugh.
Can
Yeah, syncing has been
blink
one
yet?
of the hardest challenges for this task, right? Or for tasking in general, I guess, not necessarily as bad for this one.
I am speechless, except for the words saying that I'm speechless. Besides that, I'm speechless.
Excellent. Well, I'll take the reins then as we come to the finish line at 26:06.42 on this task. What a completely ridiculous time.
You told me there's a task. I'm like, oh wow, it's like a 29's possible. 26:06. Are you kidding me?
It's pretty close to the sub 26, but alas, we'll have to save that for the next iteration of the task.
Yeah.
My God, I would have never thought that was all sarcasm and mind blowingness aside. I never would have thought that time was possible, even at a task level.
So we do want to get a move on, but Devil, I'll just leave it to you. Do you have any last thoughts that you want to share with the audience?
Not really. I mean, I just hope everyone enjoyed it. Like, the time spent on it was, amazing, and I think it just turned out amazing as well.
Well, I have to agree with that. I mean, there's really few other words to express what that is. But we should be good to move on. Thank you so much for joining us, Devil. We appreciate it. We're going to move on now to the main event, the Orion Blind Forest All Skills Tournament final match between Hetfield and Sigma. And we are going to bring back in our fellow